Name something you would say in the furry fandom, but never anywhere else. Schande.
XT doesn't use just never be.
No, oh god, no! Hi everyone, my name is Stormi the Folf, and today I want to talk about, words, vocabulary, terms, slang, all the things we use on a daily basis. And if you're a part of the furry fandom, you probably know some of our words and phrases are things you probably wouldn't hear too often outside of the fandom, if at all. Like, the Headless Lounge, for instance. Just as our fandom may seem a bit odd to some people, so will our vocabulary. Whether you're a younger fur, an older fur, or you're just completely new to the fandom, I really hope this video helps you out, or at the least you find it somewhat amusing. Our fandom is littered with all kinds of unique terminology, vocabulary, and just slang. Some of these are used outside of the fandom, some of them you've probably never heard of, and a few of them you will probably never see get used outside of the fandom. Common words you may hear on a daily basis might have a different type of context in the furry fandom. But yeah, if you're not a furry, you're probably going to find a lot of these words to be really cheesy, punny, and just kind of confusing. Now, I can't cover and dissect every furry phrase because, well, number one, this is a PG channel. There are other places to learn those words. I am dedicated to keeping my channel wholesome and family friendly, gosh darn it. And of course, I can't fit every single furry related word into one video because it'll probably never end. But yeah, without further ado potato, let's begin. Floof. Floof is a light and fluffy moldable material that sticks to itself in the real world, but in the furry fandom, it's basically another word for fluff, like the fluff around one's fursuit head. We might call that floof. Some suits have a lot of floof while others may have very little or none at all. Every fur, slang for everyone, except you're referring to specifically furries. For example, every fur, lend me your ears and paws, because this video is probably gonna suck. I need more inspiration. Pobs, or paws. I think pobs is a slang term referring to both paws and beans together. And what are beans? Beans refer to the paw pads on a paw because they kinda sorta look like beans, hence why they're called beans. Pobs is just another way of referring to paws, but in this case, there's more emphasis on the beans of the paw, or in this case, the paw pads. Yeah, it does look kind of like a bean. Beans, or toe beans. This refers specifically to the beans or paw pads on the toes, or just under the claws of one's paw. You get that? Going back to beans, however, this is occasionally used to describe a persona, like in its entirety, not just the paw pads. Like a really adorable persona. For example, that is such a cute bean. Foot paws. Paws except referring to the paws on the hind legs of one's persona. Feet, slang for persona's feet. A combination of foot and paw. Sometimes refers specifically to the hind paws. Maws. Going by the book that suddenly exists because I can't write scripts for maws or whatever. This refers to the jaws or throat of a voracious animal. For example, let's just say the maws on this persona are scary and gaping and grrr, and I kind of think they're cute. Oh my god, I need more sleep.
Grrr.
Huggles, an alternate slang term for hugging someone or some fur. Oh god, what have I done? It can also mean hugging and snuggling someone, in which case, snuggling with someone you might just be giving them huggles. Boop. Like the furry hug, booping someone is another form of greeting. But if you're a suitor, you really shouldn't boop another fursuiter unless you know them well. Some fursuit heads are more delicate than others, and you could possibly hurt their nose or worse, so you should always ask before booping someone. Snoot, aka snout, but for some reason we in the fandom like to say snoot. We also like to replace various letters with the letter O for some reason. It just sounds catchier, I guess.
I see snoots! I see so many snoots!
Headless Lounge. Now, if you're not a furry or you aren't well versed on the furry conventions, you're probably wondering, what the heck is a headless lounge? Do people just decapitate themselves and just lounge around? Like, is that a thing? Let's not go there. Anyway, a headless lounge is where fursuiters and their handlers can sit down and relax in a very well air-conditioned room because most of us cannot fursuit non-stop. It gets very hot underneath these fancy carpets of ours, which can lead to all sorts of health problems, hence why breaks are important, hence why you should know where your headless lounge is at any furry convention you attend. Hybrids. No, not that kind of hybrid. I'm referring to persona hybrids, or animal hybrids. What do you get when you mix a wolf with a fox? This thing. You get a Folf. Some people like hybrids, others think we're unoriginal and boring, but their opinion, I suppose. DTD, aka duct tape dummy. Suit makers typically use duct tape dummies to fill out the body portion of your fursuit. They're pretty much a requirement if you want to get a bodysuit made for your fursuit. BAP. Ow. A BAP is when you tap a fursuiter's nose or snout. Something you really shouldn't do without their permission, as it can cause serious harm to the fursuit head and their human nose, so please don't do that. FurCon, or FurryCon. A shortened term for the phrase furry convention. It typically doesn't refer to any specific furry convention. You could just say, oh, I'm going to that FurryCon or that FurCon in Pensacola, Florida. Or I'm going to the FurCon in Chicago, or I'm going to the FurCon in San Diego. Persona, or Sona. A persona is a portmanteau of the words furry and persona. There's cats, doggos, foxes, wolves, dragons, griffins, rabbits, deer, bats, and countless others, which include hybrids like, I don't know, Folfs, Popufur, or popular furry, used to refer to a furry that seems popular in the eyes of said person or community. And that's all it should mean, in my opinion. Therian. A Therian is someone who claims to possess a spiritual association with one or more animal identities. Basically, a Therian may feel that spiritually speaking, they may be a fox, or a horse, or a bear, or another type of animal. A woo! A wooing is a slang term for howling. It's that thing us canines like to do when we're super happy or upset about something. In literal terms, a wooing is howling. That can't get simpler than that. It's a thing I did at Megaplex, and I may have gotten in a little trouble for it. No, seriously, a security guard showed up. He knew we were just having fun and just asked us politely to turn our mouth boxes down a bit. Possum, which is slang for, well, awesome. Also, my name starts with the letter S. Digigrade. In the furry fandom, digigrade legs refer to legs that are shaped and curved to give your pursuit a more animalistic appearance as opposed to plantigrade. Plantigrade legs are more human-like and, for me, far easier to walk in fursuit-wise, but they can take away from the animalistic appearance for some. When you get a full suit, you usually have a choice between plantigrade and digigrade legs. Fursuit. Fursuits can refer to any animal or persona-based costume, regardless of if it's just a headpiece or an entire full suit. Which brings me to my next word, full suit. A full suit refers to a complete fursuit. The head, the torso, the arm sleeves, all four paws, the tail, and any other physical identifying features like wings or horns, for example, needed to complete the physical illusion that you've become your persona or animal. 3/4 partial. A 3/4 partial or 3/4 partial typically refers to a fursuit that may omit the peat or the legs or torso portion, but there's no hardline specifics that define what qualifies and doesn't qualify as a 3/4 partial. In this example, I have a 3/4 partial because the torso portion has been omitted. Mini partial. A mini partial usually refers to a suit that may only have the head, 2 hand paws, and the tail. Mini partials are a great place to start if you're brand new to fursuiting, or if you're a younger fur and you want to save a lot of money and you want to decrease the risk of possibly overheating. Because even with a mini partial and just the headpiece, it's going to get pretty hot. Quad suit. Quad suits, aka quad costumes, are fursuits that utilize the wearer's arms for the forelegs and assume the position of a quadruped. An example might be Spyro the Dragon, which utilizes all 4 limbs when sitting or standing, whereas a biped might be someone like Crash Bandicoot. Kigurumi, or Kigu, also known as a onesie. In Japan, these are referred to as mascot costumes, which could be anime or manga related, but in the furry community, it's typically referring to basically animal pajamas. They're often handmade, and when you can get one, made of your persona. Sparkle dogs. Ugh. I love these super colorful doggos. Sparkle doggos, also known as sparkles, are feral characters with unusual hairstyles, fur colors, and patterns like rainbows. Ugh. If you like sparkle dogs, you should totally buy my room mom's shirt. Link in the description, and I keep skipping like a CD, and I keep buffering apparently. I need sleep! Hashtag not sponsored. Anthro, a shortened term for anthropomorphic. Anthropomorphic, used to describe an animal with human characteristics like Sonic the Hedgehog, maybe Nick Wilde, or any other animal-like character that walks and talks like a human. Going back to Spyro, this character would be considered at least semi-anthropomorphic because they're capable of producing human-like speech and thinking like a human despite being a quadruped. Feral, or non-anthro. This is a furry term used to describe a character or persona that doesn't share any human characteristics for the most part. As in, a character that walks and stands consistently on all four legs and cannot produce any human-like speech or reasoning in communication. Scritching. Maybe your doggo likes to be scritched, maybe your cat likes to be scritched behind the ears, but one thing you should never, ever do is scritch the ears of someone's fursuit head. This is a big no-no and can cause potentially irreversible damage to their fursuit. Something that probably already cost them a pretty penny to start with, so please don't do this. Commission. Commissions are art requests made by an individual who then pays the artist for the completion of said work. Basically, it's you paying an artist for a visual art piece, or a fursuit, or a piece of music, or just any kind of art really. An artist might say something like, "Hey, I'm open for commissions," if they're open and looking for customers. Adoptable. Adoptables refer to character designs created by an artist with an intent to be sold. They may also include personality traits, a name, and other identifying features, but not always. Handler. Handlers are an essential asset for fursuiting at convention. Because of a fursuiter's limited sense of vision, hearing, and touch, it's important to have someone who can help you navigate a busy convention floor, or if you have a really complicated suit, just walking in general might be a task, so you really want a handler in that case. Nuzzle! The thing that you do when you love something a lot or you love someone a lot, you like to nuzzle it. Like I might nuzzle Trev, I might nuzzle my Tails plushies. You might nuzzle the one person you really love, and you don't have to be in fursuit to nuzzle someone. So, yeah. Gray muzzle. This is a slang term used to describe an older furry friend, typically between 30 and 50 plus years of age, or a furry that's spent 10 to 15 years or more in the furry fandom, or both. Generally used as a respectful term rather than an insult. Facepaw. Yes, that's right. We have a word for facepalming too. Oh my god, who comes up with these things? Ugh! Now remember, because most of these words are slang, there aren't exactly set definitions for a majority of these terms. So while gray muzzle might equate to a 30-plus-year-old furry, it might mean something else to another furry, for instance. Just an example, it's okay to see things differently, especially in this case, since, there aren't any set definitions for a lot of these words, so yeah. Anyway, I hope I didn't mess up too much. I hope y'all found this video somewhat amusing and perhaps maybe even a little helpful. What are some words I should have mentioned? Because I know there's a lot of words I didn't mention. Some of which I'm not going to talk about because this is a PG channel, gosh darn it. Maybe you know some furry lingo I've never heard of. Should I do a part 2? Let me know in the comments below. But yeah, I'm super tired. Gonna try to do a live stream next week. There's gonna be a new mail video next week. I know that for sure. But yeah, it's really hot. I want to get out of this. And I need to edit this video and get it posted before tomorrow afternoon. Anyway, I love you guys so much, and I will see you all next time. Also, I forgot to ask you to subscribe if you enjoyed this, and you should share it with your furry friendos too. Okay, I will see you all next time. Bye-bye!